Alright, welcome back. Hope everyone's having a lovely day, a lovely night wherever you're from. And real quick, before we get started, I want to give a lovely shout out to the channel members on this channel. So thank you so much to these lovely commanders here that you see on screen. Thank you guys so much for choosing to support me even further. Your guys' generosity and gratitude means a lot to me, so thank you guys so much. You guys are the best. And if you're actually interested in becoming a lovely commander yourself, if you're interested in any of these cute little emotes, the loyalty crown badges, if you're interested in supporting me even further, I deeply appreciate it, so thank you if you choose to do so. And as always, that's never a requirement for me because just watching the content is the best thing that I can ask from all of you. We're getting closer to 1,000 subs. Without you guys, that wouldn't be possible. So thank you guys so much. And for today's video, since today's going to be the day right before we get to Rosanna's polls, I'm excited for it. I don't know if you guys are going to be pulling on Rosanna. I plan to be pulling for Rosanna personally. But that being said, I'm a little nervous because I do plan to do MLB polls, right? MLB polls are kind of scary. With my luck lately, I have not been doing well. So, kind of nervous. But I do try to plan to do, MLB, so look forward to that video. But what I wanted to do for today was actually, do a good overview of Sakura. Every time I do this, should you pull series, I do it a little bit differently. I usually have, 3 factors that I talk about. But I'm also going to talk about tier list with one of the factors because, unfortunately, I was busy over the weekend and didn't have access to a computer yet. And since the tier list came out kind of, on Saturday, I really don't feel like making that video since it's a little too late, right? So I decided to just bundle, the tier list ranking here. So we'll just talk about it here as well. But to get started, pulling for Sakura is already kind of subjective anyway. Regardless, there's always the waifu aspect that I'm going to talk about as well. But there's also the income, what's the situation right now, and then the meta. And we're going to just, first off, let's talk about income. Right now is kind of a rough time when it comes to pulling for these banners. We have Summer Anise and Summer Helm in the future when we get that end of July announcement. We don't know what's coming with that announcement. It could be a collab. It could be Summer Part 2. It could be Summer Part 2 into a collab. We really don't know what's going on. So it's kind of a scary time right now. And I feel like right now is kind of a hard decision for a lot of people who are kind of tight on gems. So I think best case scenario, if you're really tight on your income, I think you should wait at least until Rosanna comes out so we can see how, how much better she does with Rosanna, how much more damage she, improves from Rosanna. We'll have to see. But, if you're still skeptical, I definitely think you should wait. If you want to spend your gems on Rosanna to get Sakura, I think that might be the play, but also Rosanna looks great. So, I think she might do well with Sakura. But if you're tight on your gems, hold for now. Wait for more testing when it comes to Rosanna and Sakura, and then we'll get a better idea from there. So in terms of income, I'd say probably hold on to it. Wait till we get more results because we still really don't know yet, in terms of viability, right? We'll have to see how much how much more she improves with Rosanna. That being said, though, if you're gonna pull, with 3,000 gems and you try to, one tap it, you're just built better. What can I say? No, but other than that, I think you should do, just wait. In terms of waifu aspect, that's purely subjective. That's, no waifu's gonna just be for everybody. Not everybody's gonna like a certain character. Not everybody's gonna like someone. You might rather prefer Rosanna. You might prefer Sakura, actually. So when we're talking about waifu, let's go get a good look at her because I think she looks great. I even like normal Sakura. I think she looks great. Her face is a little bit different, but the more I adjust to it, the more I like it. I still think they did a really good job with her. And, we'll just go in the view mode real quick, and I think they look, she looks phenomenal. They did great on her outfit. The Cherry Blossom Sakura colors that accent her headpiece and her summer wear looks phenomenal. I think they did really well with it, and I like that they're starting to add more background pieces to these summer characters, similar to Rosanna. I think she also has a background piece, and it looks really, really good. And, I mean, she looks fantastic. I like the slightly transparent with the netting. It looks really good for her outfit. And in terms of shooting pose, I mean, I already like this pose because it's just kind of unique to me. I think it looks really good. And you still see a little bit of the front assets, and I think it looks great. And I mean, it's phenomenal. Honestly, it looks really good. Shooting pose wise, it looks fantastic. The JPS is crazy right there. They did great on her character. So if this is your waifu and you went for the MLB wallpaper, I totally get it. She's great. She's phenomenal. So, but that is purely subjective. Maybe you prefer Rosanna, so you're holding, then do so. you know, waifu is all up to you. I think for a waifu pull, I think she's great. I definitely think you should try to get her. But if you're, you know, trying to hold so you can at least know that you can get Rosanna and then go back to Sakura, I definitely understand. But in terms of meta, one thing that I really want to talk about that is also talked about in the tier list is that she is purely going to be a mostly boss-focused Nikke. And what that means is that her damage over time, when we go look at her kit, what we're looking at mostly is her her skill 1 over here for the sustained damage added with her skill 2. Now this is really important because if you're actually not fighting anything, you're not really going to get your skill 1, right? Because if you're not destroying parts, you're not going to activate anything here for skill 1. Most of her DPS when we tested came from skill 2 and her burst. And I think skill 2 and her burst are the priorities. You get a lot of DPS out of her. And when I did my comparison, she was close to OG Scarlet. And I think that's great. And I feel like she's in a really good spot. I feel like not everything has to be meta. Not everything has to be groundbreaking, right? She's still really, really good. And I've even seen some people say that Sakura has been carrying them for, you know, campaign. I think that's really, really good. Especially since a lot of people need, you know, that extra DPS right now. If you're new, I feel like pulling for her will be really, really good in the long run. Especially if we start focusing more for a sustained damage team. I think she does wonders. You know, she's not, you know, something groundbreaking, but when it comes to bosses, she really, really helps. And she still has a place in, like, campaign and stuff. She's not useless. I think she does a really good job with the DPS that she outputs regardless of going for parts. The only problem with her sustain is that it actually kind of goes to random enemies. So you don't get the full amount of damage because it's not just like proc into one enemy, especially if the raptors die easily. That's one of the biggest problems. But even then, I still think she's really good and viable. And I hear she's kind of a beast in PvP. I think she's like SS in PvP or something like that, which is really, really cool. It's kind of crazy. And that actually is a good segment because I actually wanted to talk about the tier list. So real quick, what I want to do is actually put it up on screen. And in regards to this tier list, I think overall, I kind of respect it, but I do have a few problems with it. Obviously, they do have their pros and cons and their reasonings there, but I do not think that High Deficit's story is considered B tier. I definitely think it should be at least A tier. I feel like B tier is too harsh for Pridewin, because when we go look at like Nikkes that are like in the B tier category for like this like high deficit, that means we're saying that, you know, Summer Sakura is going to be in the same vein as like Guillotine, Kilo, Epinol, and I honestly disagree. I don't think that she should be in that position personally. I think that she has a more better spot being in A tier. I feel like her being on par with like Snow White Innocent Days, like Helm, Soda Bunny, I feel like that's a better spot for her. But otherwise, I do agree with the boss rankings and PvP. You know, I don't really, you know, keep track of the PvP meta outside of, you know, following it for my builds. But I think they did really good. And I'm excited to see how much more Rosanna amplifies Sakura for the team. And also for Viper's Treasure. Now, I plan to talk about Viper's Treasure eventually, but I want to just try to keep up and just catch up with my videos right now. But right after this, I'll pretty much be catched up because then tomorrow will be the Rosanna pulls. That being said, though, I feel like if you're pulling this character for meta, I think meta-wise, she's not, you know, the cream of the crop or anything like that. But I still think she has her place, and especially for solo raid, for endgame content for bosses union raid, I definitely think she has her place. And she will fill a 4th, 5th, or even 3rd team if you're still new. She definitely has a spot. And I think her mechanics are interesting, and I kind of like them. I kind of like the damage over time stuff that we're going to, so I think that's cool. So I'm interested going forward to see if we're going to get more Nikkes that can, you know, work with them. Because it'll be cool to see a full roster for a team, right? But, you know, other than that, you know, it's purely all subjective. If you want to pull for her because you love how she looks, go for it. If you don't want to pull for her because she's not meta, then, you know, that's fine. Just do what you want. You know, I'm not stopping you. I'm not telling you you should pull. You shouldn't. Just giving you some advice. But other than that, do you think Sakura is worth pulling for? Let me know. I'm always interested in what you guys have to know about. I'm excited, honestly. I really like how Sakura turned out, and I'm excited to see how much more Rosanna helps out for Sakura. And I'm excited to try to go for MLB polls tomorrow. I'm a little nervous because my luck hasn't been that great, but I'm sure it'll turn out fine. But that's going to be it for me. I hope you guys have a lovely day, a lovely night wherever you're from. You guys take care, and as always, thank you for the support.